It's coffee time with John. You know, when you were born in this world, you had no beliefs. You had no limitations. You had nothing out there that was telling you you couldn't do something. When you were born, you had no concept of what was possible and what was impossible. You were just in a place of experience, experiencing everything around you. And all of your beliefs and limitations were given to you by those experiences. You know, you come in and you have brothers and sisters who aren't nice to you. You come out feeling less than. You feel like you need to be in defensive posture all the time. When you get indoctrinated into a religion, that religion gives you beliefs and that you have to overcome or that you have to struggle through. And prior to those being given to you, you were a clean slate. And that means that our very nature is to be a clean slate. Our very nature is to experience. And then our subconscious beliefs are created through our experiences. Our subconscious beliefs are created through beliefs from experience. You know, that Buddhist quote that I often quote correctly as opposed to the way it normally is quoted. Life is suffering because of our habitual response to our subconscious belief. Habitual response. We are in the habit of responding that way because of the belief has given us the belief that we need to protect ourselves in some way or limit ourselves in some way. And so we have a habit of being limited or in defense. When you step outside of the limitations and you step outside of the beliefs and you strip away all of those beliefs, something miraculous truly does happen. You have this epiphany moment of, oh, you mean I don't have to think that I'm a wretch? Like Amazing Grace said I was? You mean I don't have to think I'm the pain in the butt little brother or little sister that my brothers and sisters have made me out to be? You know, I don't have to be the worthless bum that my Depression-era parents told me I was because I wasn't, living in the lack and struggling to work and do the way that they expected me to. Others' expectations were. You mean I don't have to? My life has been an interesting life, and my father and I butted heads on almost all of it. In the beginning of my life, I didn't butt heads with him because I was being told by him what to believe. And I had an epiphany about the age 19 that really put us at odds in a big way. My father was a racist and a homophobic, and at 19, I had a literal life-changing epiphany. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again here. I walked into a convenience store, and this is long before, psychics started telling me about past lives or regressions or any of that stuff. This is long before I was deep into a spiritual journey. And I walked into a convenience store, and the cashier gave me $5 too much change. And as I left that convenience store and I'm walking to the car looking at my change, I realized gave me $5 too much change. I turned around and went back inside. I said, I'm sorry, you gave me $5 too much. And the guy says, the next guy in line, not the cashier, the next guy in line says, well, there's something you don't see every day, an honest person. And I felt this swell of loving energy in me that I'd never felt before. But what freaked me out in the moment was I recognized the feeling. And I said, thank you. And I walked out of the store, and I'm walking out of the store, and I'm really just feeling this experience. And on the way to my car, I said, Jesus, is that you? I literally said that out loud. I had no inclination, but I just recognized the love, the unconditional love that came from that guy, which is basically the love of God. So for me, my association was Jesus. Of course, also being Catholic, my association with that as well. And when I said, Jesus, is that you? It happened again. And it swelled again. And the day before that happened, I was well on the way to becoming a racist and a homophobic, just like my father. And that moment, that day, all that went away. All of that went away in a day, right? Because I experienced that unconditional love and that expression of our authentic self before the beliefs, before the life experiences. That feeling, that unconditionally loving feeling, was us before we got the concepts of limitation. And when you have that experience of the clean slate, it's life-changing. But I want to use this metaphor of the clean slate, which you hear in biblical terms all the time. The concept of a clean slate, what is it that's being cleaned off? It's fear-based belief is what's being cleaned off of your slate. The fear-based beliefs, the limitations that have been given to you, the things that have held you back from feeling that feeling of that unconditional love without any limitations. Because most of us, in our beliefs of limitation and fear, aren't our authentic self. We are defending. We are limiting. We are holding ourselves back from our authentic self because it's been proven to us in our belief that our authentic self is not worthy of unconditional love, because the limits themselves are the conditions, the beliefs that have been placed upon us. In my private sessions with people, I'm constantly telling people to be their authentic self and let the chips fall where they may. Because for love to be unconditional, they have to see what condition you're in, right? And they have to see who you are. They have to see the condition of you, not the condition of your fears, your anxieties, your old beliefs. There have been people who I've met who've defined themselves by the fact that they were a victim in the past. That's not their authentic self. That's focused on being the victim of the past and the bad thing that have happened to them that have given them this belief that they need to be a victim. Well, the reason they fall into the victim mode is because of the fact that they are literally creating an experience where they are getting their version of love by people going, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you." Right? The love that they're receiving by being a victim is pity. But what if they weren't a victim? What if they chose not to focus on the past and instead focus on being their authentic self and doing the things that they love to do and not doing the things that they don't love to do. And the people who don't like them for not being the victim, or not being, the limitations, or not being the little brother or sister that was a pain in the butt, and instead is a fully rounded, authentic person. If they don't love you after you've become you, then their love is massively conditional. And you don't want conditional love in your life. You want unconditional love in your life. You want the experience of being able to breathe, because you're not worried about what they're thinking. You want unconditional love. Love without conditions, without limits, without the beliefs that you are less than. And the only way you change those beliefs is for you to clean your own slate. You can't, in any way, shape, or form, change somebody else's beliefs unless you change your own. Because their beliefs will only change when yours change. And sometimes when you change to who you are authentically living, you, in this world, sometimes they won't accept that, because the limitations they're putting on you is making them feel powerful, making them feel better than, making them feel superior. And if suddenly you are not putting yourself in subjugation below their limiting beliefs, they go away, because they're going to go find somebody else to try to put their power over top of. But the interesting thing is, the more you lean into you being unconditionally loving to yourself by following your own personal path that feels good, the people who resonate with that path, who are most in alignment with you and your experience, then come in. They come into your experience and they surround your life. And the beliefs that you're not creating are coming from your authentic nature, from your clean slate. Now, what do you want to write on that slate? Do you want to write fear and anxiety and limitation, or do you want to write love and joy and compassion and fun? And most people get into a spiritual journey. They're like, oh, I have to learn this and I have to learn that. And they're furrowing their brow. And they're like, oh, God. Have fun and enjoy your life. Laugh. What is laughter? Laughter is expressing God fully. That's all laughter is. It's an exhale. We know from a very anthropological position that when an animal in nature is afraid, they store air in their lungs so they can run further and faster. We're animals in nature. Exhale. What is a laugh? A laugh is a joyful exhalation. It is an expression of God. That's why they call it the breath of God. There's no limitations to a laugh. A laugh is a full-blown, ha-ha, very exciting and fun. Find things that are fun. Live fun in your life. Let your life be surrounded by fun and laughter and joy, and realize that is expressing God into the world. People love to laugh. People love to be joyful. People don't like to be limited or fearful or always on edge, because those are not the conditions of love. Those are the conditions of fear. So go back to being that child who's got nothing written on their slate, and start writing something new. And you can only write on your slate in your present moment. It's the only moment you have thought, word, and deed. And the more you continue to write on your slate in the present moment, the more your subconscious mind is filled with those loving beliefs. And all those negative beliefs of victimhood and suffering and limitation get pushed further and further out of your experience. And eventually your subconscious mind is just filled with these loving moments, these loving I am moments. And what happens is your world changes. It gets easier, more productive because there's less limits on the production. So go through life and choose your beliefs and realize that you live on a timeline. You live on a timeline, and the timeline is moving, not you. You're not trekking across a timeline. You're here, and the timeline is coming by you. And the timeline comes by you, by your thought, by your belief, by you saying, okay, I am choosing that, and it comes to you. And the more you believe it's coming to you, the faster that timeline comes to you. The faster that outcome, the more simple you put faith into something. And I'm going to say that very specifically. I just simply believe it's happening, and it's feeling good. And the feeling is a huge part of it, right? So you put that expression into that, and the timeline brings it around your experience, and you experience it. But so you have to realize that everything in your life is coming to you. But everything behind you is getting further and further away. And so the beliefs of your past are getting further and further away. What are you putting in their place? Are you putting more of the same, or are you putting new thoughts that will bring a different future to you? It's all up to you. It's a matter of you taking that choice. What are you choosing? You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.